Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another race here from Chequered Flag Simsports, and today we are continuing our ACC Trofeo Sprint Cup, and today we're going to round 5 Nurburgring GP. And of course, the very sad news as of recently that Sabine has left us, which is of course very sad indeed. Iconic person in the world of motorsports. But we're going to try and bring some great racing in her memory, so to speak, as best we can with these Trofeos. And joining me in the commentary box is Rob once again. So he had a great race at Catalunya, first introductory to the series and to CFS. So welcome aboard and say hello.
Thanks, Matt. And it was a trial by fire last time, hopefully a bit smoother this time. Bright sim this time as well, and RIP Sabine. She will be missed. So fitting tribute, I think, for a Wednesday afternoon.
Definitely. It's almost as if it was meant to be that we're going to Nurburgring this weekend. And of course, it is the GP variant that we're going to be taking part in this afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. And right now we are going through the qualifying phase, and the GP circuit is going to offer plenty of opportunities and plenty of challenges to the drivers. And already mentioned, like we saw in Catalunya and the rest of the series, these things do like to oversteer with those rears, and that will certainly pose some problems going through some of the faster corners here.
Well, indeed. The first corner is always going to be quite messy and be interesting because points at stake today.
Yeah, touching on the standings just quickly as the cars are making their way around the circuit for their first flying laps. It is going to be a very close fought battle at the top of the order. And as of Catalunya 2 weeks ago, the results are that Velasquez in the Simco 18 is on 72 points and followed closely by Chris Vickers with 69 points. Someone's favourite number somewhere in the world. Then we've got Diego in third place for 79 with No Team Racing, and he is tied in that position with Regal Racing and Alex in the number 8. And just going out to the top 5, Manimals Racing still in the fight with 65 points there after 4 rounds of racing. So really, any mistake here this afternoon or this evening could be fatal to their championship hopes.
Could indeed. I mean, for me personally, I just want to see Mr. Evans out of 13th position. 13th, not a good number.
He can still come back. He can still come back. I mean, if everyone else retires and he wins the race, then he can still win the championship. But I think he's got his own goals for the remainder of the season.
Yes.
And let's have a look at the qualifying times as we are already about 5 minutes in as they start to post their personal bests. And the person coming out on top at the moment is Alexis Capano with a 158.8, and followed just behind is Diego Monterrubio with a 159.091. And then it's a fairly large gap, unfortunately, before we see third place. Oh, that's just changed actually as Velasquez goes fastest with a 58.1. So that is a huge advantage over the rest of the grid there.
He was a star of the show last time we were out. It was an entertaining watch to watch him. I think he got caught, didn't he, on the first couple of laps and ended up at the back and in the pits, I think, and then made his way up to second, I think, wasn't it, if I recall, last race?
Yeah, it was exactly that. So caught up in the first lap in an early incident going into the second or third corner, if I recall correctly. And after that, it was a road to recovery, which he performed brilliantly, certainly overtaking some of the faster guys out here on the circuit. And I'm sure he's hoping for a less chaotic afternoon, but who knows?
From a personal point of view, from watching, I hope it's just as chaotic for him as it was last time round.
Oh, for an entertainment purposes, yeah, you could say that.
Absolutely.
It definitely gave us something interesting to watch, but he is still in charge of the qualifying session at the moment. Still Alexis Capano in second with that 158.8. Chris Vickers coming home third with that 159. Oh, and Diego Monterrubio reclaims second place with a 58.6. So we're already starting to see those laps come closer and closer together as we reach the end of qualifying. Now we was going to... Sorry, go on.
No, carry on.
We was going to touch on the top 5 positions. In fact, they're actually changing all over the place as I'm about to do that. Gaber in the 88. Bernhardt is a 158.596. That is just 0.03 of a second between second and third place now. Alexis Klopana gets demoted into P4, and then Niels van der Meulen is rounding out those top 5 positions. Chris Vickers gets demoted into P6 with that 59.073, and then Alex Shahabi in the number 8, 159.3. Then we've got the 49 Simcoe in P8, 159.5, and then Joan Planas in the 81 with the 159.7. Then we start to go into the 2-minute times with the number 60, that's Aaron Shard. And yeah, and the rest are as you see them at the moment.
Vickers has just popped himself up to 4th.
Yeah, so new times coming in from Chris Vickers from Team Ricky Monsters. He goes a bit wide. Looks like he's abandoning that particular lap. And looks like Diego Monterrubio is going for another attempt as well as he comes out of pit lane, ready to do another flying lap. And as he's going around the Nurburgring circuit, and before he goes on his flying lap, or as he goes on to his flying lap, should we say, we'll go on board and just give you guys a run through of the Nurburgring circuit. So as mentioned earlier, Nurburgring, certainly a challenging circuit. It has a few tricky corners, especially coming through Sector 1. And of course you've got the Schumacher S's to consider. And it's going to be quite a high tire degradation circuit too. Of course, we've already mentioned that the Trofeos don't really grip too well on those tyres. And managing that is going to be a challenge indeed.
Yeah, I mean, from memory, particularly in this particular sim, I always found it particularly challenging. And like you say, Schumacher S's are always incredibly difficult to get round at the best of times, and trying to keep a consistent line is very, very difficult.
Yeah, not only that, they're going to have to, especially with the slipstream, that's going to cause a bit of understeer. And then once that rear kicks in, it could be understeer, snap, oversteer, especially with these Trofeos. And that's always going to be on the minds of the guys, especially from what the comments that we've seen throughout the series, is that these cars do snap. And once they do snap, they're quite nasty to handle and recover from.
We're okay though. There's plenty of green and there's plenty of sand. So
yes, thank God we're not at a circuit like Monaco.
Yeah, we ought to. It's a shame, really. Never mind. That'll be an interesting one.
So Diego
one car wide.
Yeah, exactly, one car wide. I don't think there'll be many overtakes.
No.
But Diego Monterrubio now coming into the final corner. Let's go into the onboard camera if we can. And take you around Nurburgring GP. So over to the left hand side across the start finishing line, looking for the markers on the left hand side, and as soon as the hill starts to go down, you slam on the anchors down into second or first gear. Then it's about managing the throttle, use all the track available, then go to mid-circuit for Mercedes Arena, which is the complex between turn 2 to 4. Use all the track. Don't go too wide though, because it will invalidate your lap. And it's all about trail braking, getting that front end turned in. Again, mid-circuit for turns 3 to 4, and then be careful of using too much curbing on the exit on the run down towards turn 5. This is where it starts to get tricky. Off camber corner, and also carrying the speed through, which he does quite nicely. Bit too much speed if you ask me, and then you've got to slow it right down for turn 6, carry that speed through the apex, and catapult yourself down towards the hairpin, which is turn 7. That tarmac on the left, that's your braking marker for turn 7. Use it and carry the speed through. You have to come off the brakes fairly early for turn 7, because then you can coast it, because the corner is cambered in your favour, and just coast it through. And then, of course, the mighty Schumacher S, a very vital corner to get right. Can lose a ton of time here if you do not get that entry perfectly. Then into the Vorsteiner curves, which is turns 10 and 11. You can attack the curbing on the inside with the grey stuff, or sorry, the green stuff should I say. And then all about that exit here for turns 11. Screw this up and you're in big trouble down the hill as the rest of the competition goes by you in racing conditions. Now coming...
difficult circuit.
Yeah, very difficult indeed. A lot to think about. And of course, we're using the fast chicane here, not the slow, tight left-hander. And you can carry a lot of momentum through there. One thing to consider is those curbs. They do hurt these cars and will unsettle them, especially as tire degradation becomes a thing. into the final corner. Again, it's all about getting that late apex, trying to cut back for the main straight, and it's across the start finishing line with a time that's just 4/10 off our pole position here.
Seeing if there's any more movement. It doesn't seem to be. I think Vickers has probably just kept that 4th place to himself.
Yeah, Diego Monterrubio, his last was not an improvement. It was only just slightly slower, but not a personal best for the 79. And P1 still belonging to Blaskis. And we've had Alexis Clopano going up into 3rd with a 158.4. So new person on the podium.
Well, what do I know then, clearly? So there we go. So Vickers, is he back out again?
Well, we only have 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in this evening's qualifying session. So running out of time to make sure you get that extra 10th or 2 that you're looking for out on the Nurburgring. And the problem with these cars as well is that I personally found that you need to at least be out on circuit for 2 to 3 laps before those tyres are up to temperature and performing at their best, if I can get my words out today.
It's all right, Matt. I'm here to help. Watching Vickers would be, I assume, his final flyer.
Oh, he's just coming through Schumacher S, is that?
Yeah. And I think as well, there's always that, when you're chasing down time, particularly in a qualifier, there's always that danger to overdrive. It just kills your own performance.
Yeah, and these tyres don't like to be overdriven as well, as Diego Monterrubio reclaims a 3rd place with a 158.3. So that brings... Oh, and Blaskis has gone even faster on his last flying lap, 57.7. So that is a mega lap there from the Simco driver.
Vickers now just coming up to the start finish. Is he going to improve? Yes, he does, up to 4th.
Into P4. So Alexis Clopano demoted into P5. He's on a 158.4 himself. So I believe that from 2nd through to P7, we're going to have quite some close racing when we get to the green racing conditions.
Long straight to the first corner as well, so it will be interesting to see who arrives there first and who gets out of it second.
Yes. Well, it's some of the corners in that is renowned for accidents, isn't it? I mean, it's like turn 1 at Monza. You just know something's going to go badly wrong in events like this. But hopefully everyone will have their head switched on, and hopefully everyone will take note that their brakes will be very cold indeed.
Yeah. And it's a critical first corner because it leads onto the second complex as well, so you lose a bunch of time if you don't get that first corner right.
Well, fingers crossed, they'll all go single file after the first corner, because it naturally goes that way, doesn't it? It's pretty much a one-car corner through Mercedes Arena. And, yeah, as you say, if they can make the move early on, especially at the front of the pack, they can then dictate the pace for at least the first half before we get onto the back end of the circuit.
Yeah.
So we've now run out of qualifying. This is the last remaining laps for the guys on circuit. Oh, and Alexis Clopano just makes a small mistake coming out of Mercedes Arena there, and that has invalidated his personal lap. And we do have a few cars out at the moment. Niels van der Meulen in P6 for Manimals Racing Team being one of them, and I think Chris Vickers is still out there as well.
Yeah, it's on the last corner. It's just coming up now, heading up to the finals. Here we go. What will he make a dent from 4th to...
Yes, he's gone into 2nd. Mighty last minute lap from Chris Vickers, 158.035. That's how you finish a qualifying session right there.
Indeed. I bet that's woken Kiss up.
Yeah, I think he was feeling quite comfortable given his 57.7, but you know, there's only just shy of 3/10 now between those two front row teams. Now we're just waiting on Niels van der Meulen in P6. Is he going to improve on his personal best, I wonder? And P5, so he does improve.
Oh.
And demotes Alexis Clopano in the last few closing moments there. So hats off to him for that. So that is your starting order. Blas Kiss in first place, Chris Vickers in second, Gabe Bernhardt in third, and then Diego Monterrubio and Niels van der Meulen in P4 and 5. We'll run through the full order before we go racing, but we'll go for a quick commercial break, ladies and gents, just as the guys get ready on the countdown, and we will see you all in a bit. Stay tuned.
Peggy 3.
A brand new season of the GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS, begins right here. Welcome to Imola. Ready for 3 hours of racing. This is going to be fantastic. Everybody's position in this Noah's Ark 2x2 formation. Road change, now we go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action, it's go.
This is very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in. This has all got trouble written all over it. There's a G3 car.
Drop downhill there, head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, putting that truck inside line. Yes, he did. There we go.
Good evening, one and all. Welcome back to the race session, or what is soon to be the race session for the Trofeo Sprint Cup. Round 5 of the series as we visit the Nurburgring GP. And if you haven't watched the qualifying session, I suggest you do so because it was a very close session indeed. And the front-running teams, looks like we're going to have some tasty racing given by those lap times there.
It's going to be an exciting first couple of corners. For that long lap as well, so as long as everybody keeps it tidy, we should do some interesting racing over the next half hour.
Indeed, and of course we have got the championship standings for you, just if you're just tuning in at this very moment in time. A lot to play for here as we go into the penultimate round, of course, before we visit Spa in 2 weeks' time. Blas Kiss leading with 72 points, but Chris Vickers, who is starting alongside here this evening, 69 points. Then we've got a tied situation for P3 with Diego Monterrubio and Alex Shahabi in 68 points. And then Manimals Racing with 65 points as well. So extremely close. That's just the top 5 alone. Plenty of more positions up for grabs further down the order. And we'll have to keep an eye on the battles as they unfold here.
Thomas Evans needs to get out of 13th position in the points, but also 13th position on his qualifying lap.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities in the opening stages as we get into the last final few seconds of the warm-up phase, and then the cars will be taken around the circuit by the in-game server and then released for 34 minutes of racing. For those interested in the qualifying, and again, if you haven't just If you've only just tuned in, you haven't seen it, was Velasquez who took pole position with a 157.7, and then Chris Vickers coming home P2 with a 158 dead. Pretty much that last minute lap really was a flyer indeed. Then it's Gabe Bernhardt in the 88 Simcoe in third, Diego Monterrubio in P4, and then Niels van der Meulen in fifth. Alex Capano in P6, Alex Shahabi in P7, and then Patrick Bacrati in 8th. Joan Planas in the 81 in P9, and then Aaron Shard in P10. Then actually we're going to have to cut it short for the intro, because it looks like the guys are coming through the final corner now there.
Nice and steady.
So we're just waiting. Oh, here we go with green already as they come under the BMW power sign here at Nurburgring. All 15 cars side by side coming down to the first corner. Bear in mind, guys, it's cold brakes, cold tyres as the entire rear end of all those Lamborghinis lights up in red as they slow for the first corner. All seem to be getting through without too many issues as Velasquez still leads ahead of Chris Vickers and Gabe Bernhardt in the 88 in P3. Diego Monterrubio applying pressure around the outside, though he's going to try it down into the Mercedes arena, it seems. And also Chris Vickers under pressure. Oh, and Diego Monterrubio is round.
Wow. Too busy concentrating on in front and perhaps just not caring too much from behind, but he got caught there napping.
I think it was a situation where Chris Vickers was on the inside for the next corner. You had Gabe Bernhardt around the outside. I think, as you say, looking ahead to seeing what was happening, and maybe a bit of cold tyres coming into play as he tried to get the throttle down, and it doesn't take much to get these cars rotated. Oh, Chris Vickers going off as well. Chris Vickers going off at the hairpin of turn 7. A disaster for his championship hopes if he can't get this rectified, as he doesn't lose too much time, but plenty of positions in the process as he goes into the gravel slightly.
He needs to take a breather. It's a long, long race, long track. Just needs to centre himself a little bit and just relax.
So, yeah, certainly. It's going to take a while for the tyres to fully warm up to operating temperatures. That's when they can really start settling into a rhythm and push the limits of the car. But as you say, at the first lap of the race, knowing that the brakes are cold, knowing that the tyres are cold, certainly the time to have a cool head on your shoulders.
It's impressive as well also that there doesn't, there was no melee at the start. Everybody behaved themselves, which was great.
Yeah, I think the incident with Diego Monterrubio, I think that was his own doing, so to speak. Just lighting up the rears a bit too quickly. And again, Chris Vickers just outbroke himself into the hairpins. But other than that, it seems like we've got a fairly clean start to the race. And of course, this is all good news for our leader, Velasquez, as he now has a gap of 1.5 seconds already at the end of that one.
Vickers has got some work to do.
Now in second place is Gabe Bernhardt for Simcoe in that lovely yellow painted Lamborghini, and Niels van der Meulen in the car behind, the 95. In the championship standings wise, he is in P5 with 65 points, so that is certainly a threat to Velasquez. Of course, if anything happens, then he can easily move up into that P1 position.
So like you said, it was all to play for, and tight as you like at the top. Just Van der Meulen just needs to look after his tyres.
Now, I'm not too sure where Gabe Bernhardt is. I see he's in P9 in the overall standings, 38 points. He's having a battle on his of his own, rather, in the in those positions around him. So he's certainly able to move up if he can hold this current position. But I guess, as already mentioned, Velasquez just needs to hold his nerve, extend that gap as best he can, and just stay ahead of Niels van der Meulen.
Well, it certainly changes the dynamic of your championship for sure. In just what, 3 corners?
Yes, it was turning in from a race where you have 4 competitors breathing down your neck, and already at the first lap, 2 of them seem to have run into problems.
So Vickers seems to have found himself a little bit of a rhythm now, and Just needs to get back by. Is it Baccarata?
I think it's Baccarati. Patrick behind the 49. Coming down the start-finish straight now. He's within striking distance at 0.3 seconds. Doesn't look like the run down into turn 1 is going to provide any opportunities, though.
Yeah, but I mentioned before, it's not really an overtaking area, is it? It's normally corners
No, I
2,
think
3, 4.
I think Mercedes Arena is certainly a place where if you're going to overtake, it has to be a last resort, because otherwise you're just losing time. And especially in Chris Vicker's position, he needs to be able to overtake, but at the same time not lose the guys ahead. He can't afford to battle too much. If he's going to pass, it has to be clean and quick.
I think he's getting held up a little bit as well. He needs to get past him as quickly as possible.
Well, we'll see what the lap times are saying. Of course, tyres are still coming up to those perfect temperatures that they love to see. But looks like Velasquez got the fastest lap of the race with a 59.5. Niels van der Meulen also 59.5. So he's certainly starting to match the pace of the leader. And in fact, catching Gaber in second place as well.
Vicker's having a quick little peekaboo, but didn't make anything of it. Yeah, he's definitely getting held up, and he's got to be careful now he doesn't get frustrated.
Yeah, he's lost a bit of time coming out that last corner, which is vital because he will have the slipstream and could have opened a window coming down into the final few corners here, but just didn't work out.
No.
Oh, he's onto the grass as well. So, as you say, maybe a bit of frustration coming through the steering wheel there, which is leading to all these mistakes. It's only just making the situation worse. And across start finish line. Yeah, last lap was 2 minutes 2.4. 1:59.8 for Patrick Baccarati, so he is slowly losing pace. Or losing some ground.
All over the tailpipe of Bernard. You'll have to help me with the names on that one. Second place position.
Yeah, Gabriel Bernhardt in the 88 Simcoe. And 0.4 seconds now. He seems to be very close coming out of Mercedes Arena.
Give him a little flash of his lights. It's probably for me, not pronouncing his name right. There we go.
Just looking at the last laps as well. Again, he was slightly slower, but only by a few hundredths of a second to Velasquez. So if he can get past Gabriel Bernhardt, then he may be able to start reeling in Velasquez. It all depends how much Gabriel is actually either assisting him with that slipstream or holding him up.
Kiss isn't really getting away though, is he?
It's 2.1 seconds at the moment, so it's a steady pace or steady gap for the time being. 1:59.2 from Gabriel Bernhardt, so he is slowly but surely being able to etch away from the guys chasing. But it'll be interesting to see if Niels can get past and what kind of pace he can then unleash to try and catch Blas ahead.
Vicker's not really making a dent now, is it? Whether he's just decided to back off a little bit, I don't know, but not as close as he was before.
We've got quite a few battles going on at the moment. So we've got this one for second place, which is currently sitting at 0.7 seconds now. So he's lost a bit of time coming through the last few corners. Chris Vickers also for fourth place. And it looks like we've got some other battles going down for P7 and potentially P10 as well.
Just keeping an eye on Capano. Oh, he's got the slipstream on the straight.
Yeah, looking onto the outside line.
It's going to be tight.
Puffs of smoke and flame coming out of the exhaust pipes here as they break down into the apex of turn 1. Was there a slight touch there?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a cheeky squeeze. All fair in love and war.
Yeah, no harm out of it. And yeah, this is for 7th place.
Still with him though. I don't think he took too kindly to it though, by the looks of his aggression there.
Oh, he is the faster car by at least half a second, given the lap information that we've... In fact, a full second, given the lap information that we've got. Niels Vercade in the 47 ahead. Oh, he's going down the inside. Here we go. Makes the move. Just gets the undercut nicely. Now accelerating down into the hairpin.
Very nice.
And that's position taken. I think that's firmly in Alexis Clopano's hands now.
Indeed. Who's he got next? Chard next, which I assume we'll catch up to pretty quickly.
Looks like Chris Vickers is unfortunately falling back from Gabriel Bernhardt in 4th place. It's up to 1.3 seconds now. Last lap was still a 2 minutes, so he seems to be struggling to find any 59s, which we saw him do in qualifying.
Buckley with a nice pass on Planis, and then Shabaya coming up as well.
Did we miss that already? Has it already happened?
Yeah, it's already happened.
Okay.
A nice pass by Buckley to the
Oh, just behind though, we've got Alex Shahabi under pressure. Oh, is that Joan Platz going wide? It is. He's got a bit of damage to the front of that Lamborghini, it seems.
All wrong there.
Yeah, the bonnet's slightly up into the air. That's not going to be too good for the aerodynamics.
Wow.
And then there's Thomas Evans coming up in P14, the start-finishing line as well.
My man Evans. There he is. And then in 15th we've got Akabullet.
Yep, so running out the back of the grid. It still gets points though for being there. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
So let's have a quick look at the leader then. Blaskis still charging ahead. Last lap was a 58.7. That's the fastest lap so far. Oh, yeah, it is still the fastest lap this afternoon. And Gabriel Bernhardt rounding up behind. He did a 59 dead, which is matching Niels van der Meulen's personal best. But last lap from Niels van der Meulen was actually a 2-minute 4. So something's definitely happened to the Manimals Racing driver. He's lost a bit of pace and, in fact, quite a large gap. 1.5 seconds to second place now.
Whether his driving style hurts his tyres a lot more early on than everybody else's, but I think he had this exact same problem last time, didn't he, where he just seemed to drop back.
Yeah, I mean, where did he finish 2 weeks ago? See if I can get that information. Yeah, he finished in 4th place, but if I recall correctly, he was actually fighting for the lead. And
yeah, he was at one point.
Yeah, and as we've already mentioned, the tyres here at Nurburgring do suffer quite a lot. I mean, you can see all the marbles on the or off the racing line already coming down the start-finish straight.
Whether he's just got an aggressive style of driving, I don't know.
Well, the concern is now.
Setup choice.
Yeah, the concern now will be that Patrick in the 49 will soon be reeling him in. You've got Chris Vickers in the distance in 5th place. So potentially we may have a 3-way fight for 3rd place if Niels isn't able to regain some speed.
Be interesting to fight. It's a shame we can't speak to the drivers, because it'd be interesting to see what happened to Vickers, to be fair.
I think you'd get a few explicit words like the tyres are beeped or similar. We do have a...
Why we're not playing our factor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We've got a battle starting to come close together for 6th place. This is Aaron Shard in the 60 holding off Alexis Clopano, who breaks deep into turn 7. Nearly makes contact, but nicely avoided there. And also behind you've got Niels Vercade in the 47. I think they're both Regal Racing. Oh no. Oh, big incident there for Alexis Clopano. Was that assisted? I think that was a loss of control.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it's not moving.
No, it's dead. I think it's completely gone. So our first retirement, Alexis Clopano back in the garage. And our first retiree for this evening's race.
And we've got quite a nice little gaggle between Van der Sloot, Chabot, and Rubio.
Where am I looking? Yes. There's quite a lot of damage to the front of that 79 car as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then Buckley coming up for this. This is where Buckley could actually really capitalise here, because he could take a chunk of points if they don't notice him coming up behind them really quickly as well.
Oh, Regal racing ahead in the form of Alex Shahabi. Coming down to turn 1. Don't think he's going to be close enough this time by to have a look. He has a look anyway. Applying the pressure. He's making the move down the inside. He's going to make it work too. In the background, you've got David Buckley making a move on Joan Planas as well in the 14. Oh, sorry, Van der Sloot rather, sorry.
Oh, Monterubu has completely overcooked it. He's off and back on now.
So more work to do then for the Jokers E-Team driver. And where did he make it up to? P9. Yes, he's going to be 11th place now, it seems.
And Buckley did get in front of Van der Sloot. Van der Sloot is not letting him keep it, though.
It's fending down the inside.
Can he switch it back? No, I think Buckley may have just kept that.
Yeah, so he's in 9th place now. Timing just updates.
Yeah, I think Buckley's on his way to his next catch, which will be Shabir.
Very aggressive on the Schumacher S's, and the curbs located on the inside.
Yeah, I am mystified with Vickers, really. Good qualifying pace and practice pace as well. He just seems to have faded a little bit.
What was his last lap? 1:59.5. As he just comes across the finishing line now. If we compare that to the leaders, in fact, he's found some pace now. I mean, Patrick ahead, 59.8. Niels van der Meulen is on a 2-minute 1 last lap. And Gabriel is on 59.6, so he's certainly got the pace there. Maybe just struggling to settle in here at Nurburgring. Oh, bit of moment here between Van der Sloot and Diego Monterrubio. Bit of switching going on the main straight as Diego goes around the outside line. Maybe trying to get the switch back here on Van der Sloot. No, he's actually going to stay on the outside. Still pressing the attack, though, into Mercedes Arena. Van der Sloot gives him space as he puts the nose on the inside line. And that's position taken. He's going to try and come back down the inside into the turn 3, though. Still side by side even now. And there's a bit of bumping, bit of barging starting to come into it as the circuit narrows. And it looks like Diego's got it.
Yeah, I mean, that pass was made at that first corner. So Van der Sloot went in way too deep over the curbs on the inside, and it just compromised his exit.
Yeah.
And he's going to struggle then all the way through that complex. So, yeah, pass on that one.
He's now got Joan Planas behind in the white and blue Lamborghini. And that is down to at least 0.6 seconds. You've got some battles starting to appear up and down the order, in fact.
Unless Vickers was just keeping those tyres nice and tasty.
Well, that gap is now coming down quite alarmingly. It's down to 0.5 seconds now. So maybe Patrick has been really hounding his rubber. That sounds really wrong for a starter. But okay, the tyres. He's been really harsh on his tyres. Let's just get that out there right now, okay? Before we start getting some really dirty comments. But he's coming down into the first corner now. Chris Vickers right up behind, which even makes it sound even worse considering my previous comments. And that's it. I've broken Rob. There you go. It only took 2 events, and he's already gone. That's what it's like here at CFS. So Chris Vickers finding the pace. Let's have a look at the last laps. 2 minute 0.078 for Patrick Baccarati. Chris Vickers 1:59.268. So definitely has an advantage at this stage of the race. We have 11 minutes to go.
Yeah, it seems to settle a little bit. Whether or not we'll just get a nice 10 minutes left, I don't know. But they seem to be relatively evenly spaced going through now, particularly towards the tail enders. Everybody seems to have spaced out a little bit. Kiss seems to be on his way. Realistically now, I don't think there's any major challenge to him now. So I think it's going to be for the last 2 remaining places here, I think.
Yeah, the gap now 5 seconds. That's going to be quite a challenge for even if Niels van der Meulen was able to get past, and even if Gabe Bernhardt finds an extra bit of pace, it's going to take more than 10 minutes to reel Ballast back in, I reckon.
Yeah, I think with Nurburgring as well. Not Nurburgring, Nuremberg. Oh God,
It's
mental.
Nurburgring.
Now
No, we're both losing it, isn't it? That's it. We've lost it.
With this particular circuit, at some point it becomes less about racing other people and trying just to stay onto the circuit, as you've seen some unforced errors from quite a few people.
Yeah.
So
And
unless you've got a car in front of you, it does make it quite difficult.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like one of those afternoons where it's going to be what if those guys didn't go off at the start? What if they didn't make those mistakes early on? Could we be seeing a fight for the lead, perhaps? It's but we're still seeing some great racing between some of the teams as David Buckley now comes under pressure from Diego Monterrubio. He himself going around the outside line of the final corner. Is a drag race down the start-finish. And coming across the start-finishing line, it is still David Buckley who's got the slightest of advantages. He's holding the inside line for that defensive manoeuvre. The brake lights go on and down into the first corner they go.
That was need a wheelbarrow for those to carry those about coming down there like that, but yeah, just didn't quite make it.
Well, he's got position done. He seems to have learnt that if you go around the outside at turn 1, if you can maintain that position alongside the defender, then that sets you up beautifully for the entry into turns 3.
And the slot's is pulling back a little bit as well. My man Evans, still in 13th, still rolling.
He's got a gap of 4 seconds, or just shy of 4 seconds, to Joan Polanes.
I'm going to go for Akabule in 14th. Still trucking on in there.
And I'm trying to... There's some gap... As I'm waiting for the information to come through on the live timing, I think we might have a battle starting to emerge between Aaron Shard and Niels Vercade. There's slightly. It's not. It's updated now to say it's slightly larger than what I was initially thinking. It's up to 1.3 seconds, but it was down to 0.6 rather. Sorry, just a few moments ago. The wonders of live timing.
Vickers seems to have dropped back again. I haven't got the live timing from my end. So has Vickers dropped back again? Has he slowed down? Or
it's 1.7 seconds at the moment between 4th and 5th position. He actually did a 2:01.1 there, so clearly he may have made a move and made a mistake by that information because he was catching. Oh, battle for 11th place. Joan Planas in the slipstream for Van der Slot. And coming down into the first corner once again. It starts to get quite dark here.
It does.
Down into Mercedes Arena. 0.5 seconds between the two.
Come on, send it. Give us something.
Just send it. No brakes.
Don't need them.
But yeah, he's got 0.5 seconds. And I think I see David Buckley just in the distance as well. So we could see a battle come together with 3 cars as we approach the end of the race. 6 minutes remaining.
So you are right now. So the Card and Chard are getting ever closer to each other. I think the Card starting to line him up.
Yeah, looking for opportunities. Coming into Sector 3. It's going to be the perfect opportunity to make a move or an attempt to have an overtake on the run down to the final chicane.
Certainly taking some track limit liberties there. Yeah, he's hooked up to him now. I think he might dispatch him in the next half a lap, maybe.
Yeah, firmly in the slipstream. It all matters. Oh, sparks flying off of Aaron Shard's number 60 as he rides the curb through the final chicane. Luckily, that didn't send him into the grass on the other side.
Strange cars. I haven't seen this many Lamborghinis since walking down Knightsbridge, to be fair.
They do sound amazing, though. That's the
They do, yeah.
That's the thing. Oh, and a bit of a mistake there from Niels coming into the braking zone. Just overcooked it slightly and led to understeer and missing the apex.
Yeah, we're going to get a bit of a show considering he was last time out race winner.
I think Nurburgring is that kind of circuit where you win some, you lose one. There's got to be an element of luck behind any success here. And as we've said already in the stream, it's so easy to overdrive the car here. Not that I'm making excuses for anyone, but it is very easy to light up those rear tyres. And once you started that process, very little room around the Nürburgring circuit in general in able to bring that back under control and almost hit the reset button as far as the temperature is concerned.
Pretty much relatively evenly spaced now, the top four.
Well, Niels is once again starting to close up on Aaron. He seems to have the pace to catch up. It's just that overtaking. As soon as he gets within 0.3 seconds, seems to be getting quite a lot of understeer, it seems, and struggling to keep up.
Did you see him wash out?
And then we've got that battle for P11 and 12. That's 0.8 seconds between Joan Planas and Van der Slot as well. So keep an eye on that one as best we can.
David's got secured his... I don't know. Still plenty of time, really. 3 minutes, is it? 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3.5 minutes still remaining. So I reckon 1 to 2 more laps as they come across the start-finish line. Most of the laps appear to be going into the 2 minutes now as we go into the night time. So that means the track is cooling down, and of course that means less grip available for these Lamborghinis.
I notice that Van der Slot and Planis are starting to make a little bit of headway on Buckley. Whether or not they're going to have enough time, I don't know. I mean, Van der Slot's got his own issues with Planis all over him at the same time. They seem to be bringing themselves into contention without knowing it.
Well, yeah, he's going to have to be thinking. He's going to have one eye in the rear view mirror in case he does decide to attack. And if that is the case, then he has to make sure it's going to work. Otherwise, he could leave himself open to losing a position near the end of this race. Aaron Shard still under attack from Niels at the moment for the 47.
Planis is in touching distance now. Just, like as we've seen, little mistakes cost you.
Coming down to the chicane. No time gain. In fact, he lost a bit of time there. Oh, bit of an incident for Niels in Manimals Racing Team. Now Alexis Clapano coming into the fray. 1.7 seconds and closing as they come onto the back straight down towards the final chicane.
Go.
So we've got a three-way fight now. Aaron Shark getting away ever so slightly. Up to 1 second now between P6 through to 8th.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit brave now. It's that one last chance saloon, I think.
Where is Velasquez at the moment? We may go for even a further lap, it seems, because he's coming through turns 4 now. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. We may get another run across the start-finishing line, but I don't believe so.
That'll cheer them up.
Another opportunity to overtake, that's for sure. Back to Aaron Shard.
Yeah, he's... So we've got Vicardes under pressure a little bit. Can he hang it in? Nice little gaggle of 3.
In the closing stages as well. That's what we like to see.
Go on, give us something.
Alex Shahabi is trying to set himself up in the mid-sector of Nurburgring GP. And we may get a further lap as Velasquez now entering sector 3, I believe. Yeah, coming down the start-finish... Oh, sorry, not the start-finish straight, but the back straight even.
Oh, he's ruined it for himself. He just...
Into the chicane.
Yeah, it was
the hairpin
outbraked himself. Yeah, he just outbraked himself. And to his credit, rather than punt him out, he took the grass instead. So...
And he's now dirtied his tyres. That's leading him to... go off wide, and yeah, Velasquez coming across the start finishing line now. Looks like we will get another lap. So it's been a very dominant race from Velasquez. Of course, we had that great qualifying session. Diego Monterrubio, Chris Vickers, all there at the top and ready to do battle. Times very close to one another, but it's just that smallest of mistakes at the start for both of those guys. And you've seen it yourself, that's multiplied. You've got to fight for your way through the field again. And that's where Velasquez is now 10 seconds ahead.
So we've got Planis on Van der Sloot, both of them making silly mistakes. So Van der Sloot gave some time away, and Planis did exactly the same. So I think this might come down to the wire. Oh! Tried to squeeze it in. Has he taken it on the last corner?
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, into the... He's still got one more lap to go, though, of course, because Velasquez is still on his final lap himself.
This will be...
And Van der Sloot now looking down the inside.
This will be a Massa Kubica situation.
Dedication coming from the 14. He overcooks it. Here comes Joan Planas. Nice switchback. Knew exactly how wide the car was there in order to slot that right in front of the 14.
Van der Sloot, no irony there.
And looks like Chris Vickers is starting to apply pressure onto the back of the 49, Patrick Bakrati, in the closing stages. He's actually been able to post some fairly quick laps, 0.5 seconds faster than the car ahead, and looking quite feisty in the closing stages.
Is Mr. Vickers going to show us his knickers? That was awful.
That was very bad. That was almost like a dad joke. That was
that was bad.
And coming down to the braking zone of the chicane. And yeah, Velasquez will take victory here. We're going to keep on board with these guys just in case anything happens in the last few corners. Unfortunately not. Oh, bit of a twitch there from Patrick. Struggles to get it back under power. It's going to be a drag race to the finishing line and a flash of headlights. No, as they are. Gabriel Bernhardt coming home in second place for Team Simco. So he will move up the order in the standings. Very happy with that. Velasquez extending his championship lead from 72 points. Bad news for the rest of the competition, of course, as Patrick Bakrati comes home P4. Chris Vickers, the next man in line, comes home P5. That's going to be a significant loss of points to the guys around them. And Aaron Chard coming home in P6 with Niels Verkade in 7th. Alex Shahabi in 8th. Diego Monterrubio. Sorry, go on.
Van der Sloot and Chard still at it.
Oh, they're coming to the finishing line, yes. And it is going to be... It's going to be Van der Sloot taking the position back at the finishing line. That is brilliant stuff. Nice eyes there. I would have missed that otherwise if you wasn't looking for it. So that is a drag race to the finish. We also had Alex Shahabi. He unfortunately retired. Oh, sorry, Alex Clapano, rather. Sorry, he retired at the end of the race. As everyone gives each other's knife.
Who came 14th, Matt? I can't see it on my screen.
It was the 66 on our screens at the moment as the session.
Right.
It goes over to the next session, unfortunately. But anyway, that is the end of this evening's racing, ladies and gents. If you have enjoyed the action, then please do give us a thumbs up. As always, if you want to see more racing action, don't forget to subscribe. In 2 weeks' time, we go to Spa for the final round. And if you fancy some endurance racing, then you can come watch us at Road America on Sunday in about a week and a half, to be exact. But that's it from us here in the commentary box, both myself and Rob. It's been a fairly good race. It's not as exciting as Catalunya, granted, but still plenty of action throughout.
Indeed. Bye-bye.
And take care out there, and take care. Goodbye.